Okay, we're going to start the Op Art spheres using some of these tools that we're going to help us do this. So first step is to put your first and last name on the back, your grade level, and your room number. Then we're going to flip it to the front, and we're going to start off by tracing some circles. We need at least 3 circles. You can use the stencils to do that. Don't hand draw them. You can either use the compass or the stencils. So I'm just going to go ahead and put 3 on here. The bigger ones will be easier for you to work with, so I'm going to use those more than those smaller ones. And then I'm going to have one going off the edge over here just for some interest. Then the next step is we're going to kind of just do, and using your eye, just guessing where the center of these circles are. So right about here, and just do a light dot. The next step is to use a ruler, and we need to draw a plus sign in each of these circles. So I'm going to do a cross on all of them. And then I'm going to do the other direction as well. So there's like a plus sign in there. These lines now make those right angles. So here's your 4 right angles. We're also dividing this circle into fourths. And then the next step is we're going to be using a compass to draw these lines to make these look like checkered spheres. So you're going to pick one of these edge crisscrosses, and you're going to put this brass circle on it. So I'm going to do this. Let me do the big one first. So I'm going to put this on the corner here. The brass is in the crosshairs basically. And then I'm going to take one of these dots over here that is above this line. So for example, I'll just do this one here, and then I'm going to put it in the hole, and then you drag it across to the other side. Again, this finger is holding this circle still, and I need to do it again up here with a different line that's now above this arc. So I'm going to do this one. So you can see we have 2 arcs, and then I'm going to flip the paper around, and we're going to do the same thing to the other side. So again, I have to put this in the crisscross hairs here, and then I'm going to find one that is fairly close to the other side, drag it across, and again on this side over here, and drag it across. Okay, so now they're all going kind of the same directions. Now we need to do these 2 sides. So I need to put my brass circle here as well as here. And so I'm going to put that on there. Find one that's nearby, but above that straight line. And then I'm going to drag the compass. And then do another one up top. And then I'm going to flip this around and do the other side. So you're going to do this to all 3 circles, or if you chose to do 4 or 5, it's up to you. So you're going to do this to all of them. So now when I'm finished, you can see this makes kind of like a grid. And that's what we need to happen on all 3. So now these are finished with the grid on each one. The next step is to use a ruler, and we're going to just make a straight grid in this background negative space. So we're going to start off, I'm going to actually measure mine using the ruler, using a 1-inch marking. So I'm going to mark, use your ruler, put your ruler at the 0 at the edge of the paper, and then mark at the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 mark. And then I'm going to do that again at the bottom of the paper. Same way, put the ruler at the 0 at the edge of the paper, and then mark your inches all the way across to the other side. And then what we're going to do is we're going to connect these 2. So, trying to get it in the screen here. So I'm going to connect these 2 marks that we made. So I'm putting the ruler on that mark as well as the one at the other end of the page. So I zoomed out a little so you can see this. I'm putting the marks right on the edge of the ruler, and then when I get to the circle, I want to make sure I don't trace over top of that. And then I'm going to do the next one down, line up those marks, lift up at any of the circles, and this way this ensures that the line is going to be straight from one side of the paper to the other. And then the next step is going to be to mark it going the other direction. So that again we're making right angles with the 2 lines that are touching. Right now these are just parallel lines. So 2 lines that will never touch. And then the next step will be to do the other direction, in the same fashion we did with these, marking 1 inch. You could actually do 1.5 if you want as well. So again, I'm going to now take the long side of the paper and I'm going to mark that. And I'm going to do the 1 inch again, all the way down the paper. And then I have to do the other side as well. I am going to put this on the sphere just to line it up, but I'm not going to be drawing that there. So we can erase that when we're finished using it. Again, you want to keep your markings light so that you can erase things if needed. So again, just like we did before, I'm going to line up these 2 marks, and then I'm going to trace, but not drawing on top of the sphere. So I stop right at the sphere. That way it saves us from erasing all of that as well. So what's happening with these lines on the spheres, even though they are flat circles, the way we drew the lines with the curving arcs will make it appear to be that those are 3-dimensional on a flat surface, although we know they're not. So that's that tricking of the eye that Op Art has incorporated into it. So I'm almost done here. Got 3 more left. When you're finished with this step, you're going to come and check with me. I want to see that you've done all those steps correctly before we do any permanent sharpening.